Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, Dirkin, if you can't tell already by the thumbnail, it seems like the Dusklight development team cannot take a break right now because the Twilight Princess PC port has just been updated to 1.2 status, and honestly, this is the best build yet, bringing in a ton of new features and stability fixes, and even one feature that I wanted to see more so than any other. And because some of the commenters and people I've seen on Discord have been having some crashing issues in certain parts of the game, this is definitely going to be one you absolutely want to download, because Dusklight, the Twilight Princess PC port, is already doing an outstanding job, and it seems like the team is now speedrunning updating it just like they did in the actual development process. And I figured I would talk about this one because it has a lot of the features that I was hoping to see out of a Twilight Princess PC port. I think everyone's definitely going to want to know about this one, but don't worry, I'm not going to exclusively become a Twilight Princess channel. It's just been a very busy period of time for this sort of stuff. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. Now I will go over all of the top note updates on this one, but what I want you to realize is the stability and crashing issues should be pretty much buttoned up in this build of the game. I know for some of you we're having certain crashes at certain points in time in the actual storyline, stuff that I haven't really experienced because I keep jumping around with save files and warp zones. But you'll see here, as of about 6 hours ago, this was updated to 1.2 status, and I can't stress enough, you absolutely want to upgrade to this. And if you're wondering, no, upgrading doesn't affect your save file in any way, shape, or form. You'll be able to jump right back into the game the same way you did before you updated. I tested it myself, asked a couple other people, there's been no issues. So if you're in the middle of a Twilight Princess run on Dusklight, go ahead and update. There really isn't going to be any problem, but if you're really concerned about it, you can always back up your save in the folder, just keeping it safe just in case, but honestly, I've seen no issues whatsoever. The nice thing is here too, a lot of the interpolation has been cleaned up, so you're going to get a lot less graphic artifacting, especially if you go to those high frame rates. The nice thing is now too, I will show you in just a bit, but there is a capped frame rate option. So if your panel runs at 240 Hz, but you want to cap it at 120 or 60, you can go ahead and do stuff like that, because there has been some issues for a few people with those frame rates running really high and actually hitching a little bit in a very weird manner. But that was always something about using interpolation here for those extra frames, and the Dusklight developers are very clear in the options menu that you could get some graphical artifacting if you use something like interpolation. But I will say it's definitely a lot clearer, a lot better image here, and I think everyone's going to absolutely love having that for themselves. Now you'll also see that DirectX 11 support as well as OpenGL ES for Android have been brought in, because before you had to have DirectX 12, and honestly I'm pretty sure like 99 out of 100 you do, but they're now kind of just backporting this down to make sure more people can actually enjoy it. And you'll see here that there has been some resampling done as well to kind of work on the overall image quality, and I think it is outstanding, but of course it could only be better. And you'll see here, if we actually go down into the video menu, you're going to see unlock frame rate. It can be unlimited, it can be capped, or you can use the original 30 frame per second presentation that would have been on the GameCube Wii or even on the Wii U, so you kind of get to decide how you want to play around with that. And you'll also see here, like I said, a lot of fixes on the interpolation. And just so you're aware, the tick rate of the game, the way it actually uses its logic, is still tied to 30 frames per second. So you have to have something like interpolation, or else the game would be running basically at fast forward comedy speeds. If you ran it at 240 frames per second, that would basically be like running the game at like the 6x speed of its actual native internal speed. And that's just how some of these games work. They tie their game logic to the refresh rate. Additionally, mip mapping has been fixed with a lot of the texture packs here, so you're going to get a better presentation and hopefully a little less shimmering at the distance, which is something that people have been talking about, whether you use the Henrico 4K texture pack or the Twilight Princess HD Wii U texture pack. And it seems like when I did that video, the Wii U texture pack was definitely the winner of that challenge. So we're going to go into our first soundtrack sample here, just so you can hear how the game sounds again, but come back, I'm going to talk about the one feature I was requesting and came into this build, and a bunch of the other ones, because trust me, this is the most fundamental version of Twilight Princess on PC since it actually came out. But enjoy. Gotta really hate the Uku. It is absolutely one of the creepiest things ever set to a Zelda game. So you're gonna see here, you're also gonna get some issues fixed up around autosaves. That'll definitely be something that is nice. But my favorite new feature, you can enable and disable texture replacement in the game. You no longer have to go into the folder and move things around for them not to load up. The only other thing I would love to see here, and again, I totally get that it would probably just be a for me or other content creators thing, is to be able to actually have a toggle to switch different folders for different texture packs, especially when we're comparing stuff like the 4K texture pack from Henrico to the Wii U HD texture pack. Not having to go in and drop in new folders to get new textures to load up would definitely be a really nice time. But a lot of times we'd like to take a look at what something would look like with the enhancements on and with the enhancements off. And now you'll see here, we're actually able to go into the menu and play around with stuff like that. And that, at least for capture and just kind of getting the vibe and seeing how much things change, absolutely fun. And if you didn't realize, you can also basically warp around in this game to your heart's content if you turn on developer mode and all of the cheats. So if you go down here, you're going to see use texture pack on or off, and we can toggle it in real time, and you can see the absolute fundamental difference. Because I know some people said they like the new texture packs for some areas, but other areas they actually like the original look. Now you're going to be able to do that anytime you want. It is on the fly. It is absolutely my new favorite feature. So it's one of those things, if the Dusklight developers are listening, if you wanted to add in an option to have multiple folders to be able to load in multiple different texture packs, I mean, I certainly wouldn't complain about that, but again, I also don't expect it either. Now you'll see here various crashes on all platforms. The Goron Mines elevator is one that I've seen in the comments a lot, especially with texture packs, basically just completely freezing or crashing the actual application. And the bitmap texture replacement regression that came in 1.1.1 has now been fixed up. So again, you're just going to get a better looking, better performing, more stable version of Twilight Princess Dusklight than you had before. And that honestly is something that everyone's going to want. Because I have to remind you, even though this game is absolutely running so well, looks incredible, and has so many features, it is still in active development. This is not done, so I'm sure there's probably still going to be a bug or a glitch somewhere within the game. But I've talked to a bunch of people, and they've been able to play this from start to finish. A couple people even got really close to 100%ing it. They're almost done, at least the ones that I trust to give me the actual information on their playthrough, and that in and of itself is impressive. But people keep thinking, hey, the Twilight Princess PC port is out, I'm going to be able to do everything I want in it. It is a static game. It is not. It is a moving target. I'm sure we'll have a new version of this probably within a week or two, but I'm definitely going to slightly slow down the Twilight Princess Dusklight videos just because unless it is a fundamental update, you kind of know what's going on here. But this one felt big enough for me to run one more video to convince you guys. If you haven't updated yet, you definitely should. Well, let's do the second soundtrack sample, one of my favorite pieces of music in any single Zelda game, especially here in Twilight Princess on Dusklight. And I'll be right back with some more features and improvements you're going to get on this new version of the game. Just a super fun rendition of a classic Legend of Zelda song. You'll see here, apparently, and I didn't even notice this, the analog values on some of the triggers were not actually set correctly, so that should be completely buttoned up now. And there was a bug with the fast tears of light, where apparently some of those tears can actually just get out of the game. Again, things I didn't really notice, but maybe you did, and they're going to be fixed up now. Additionally, it's going to boot on a couple other Macintosh operating systems. Not really a Mac user here, outside of the fact that I keep a laptop around just for some specialized software for my production. resolution, but otherwise you'll definitely have a better time if you're a Mac user as well. But I absolutely love just how fast the Dusklight team iterates on the Twilight Princess PC port. They brought in so many new features, they fixed up so many bugs, and given us such a better version of the game than even the 1.0 release. So if you're on 1.0, absolutely update. And if you're on 1.1.1, I would update just to get that texture loading on and off and get the bitmapping fixed. You also get a couple of those crash fixes, and that's definitely going to be important as well. And I can't wait to see what the Dusklight team comes up with next. And even though I have no idea whatsoever, I'd love to see someone try to pivot the project into some sort of VR implementation just for the fun of it all. But honestly, the Twilight Princess PC port is a straight up 10 out of 10, and this new update made it a 1.210 out of 10. That's not a number, I made it up, but I think you get the joke. Short of that, we're done. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, but I'll see you guys next time, and trust me, update, you're going to want it. Bye-bye.